Hello everyone, and today we'll be giving our thoughts and looking at the patch notes for the Horns of the Reach DLC, um, Elder Scrolls Online version 3.1.0. Today joining me is my lovely lady Smirknrevenge, who is going to start out streaming soon for her guild and so on. So, unlike the Vardenfell patch, this patch you don't have to really pay for to play the content. It's a DLC dungeon pack, meaning just like Shadows of the Hist, Dark Brotherhood, or Imperial City. If you're an ESO Plus member, you will get it for free, technically. You don't have to upgrade your account or whatever like you did with Vardenfell Morrowind. So I guess that's the first good news we have. So,
Woo.
woo!
Woo.
Woo! Alright, cool. So we'll be briefly looking at just like the base game patches. We will be talking about, I guess, the item sets that they're releasing on the PTS. You can definitely download this on the PTS and test for yourselves, guys. So let's move on. So let's scroll down to the dungeon section. Okay, so they're gonna release two new dungeons. They showed this on ESO livestream this past week. I think they showed Falkreath Hold. You get a new skin, I believe. You get some new collectibles like emotes. You get a memento, I believe. So let's skip past that boring shit. I know a lot of people are excited about the skins.
That's not boring. We get a skin?
Ugh,
That's awesome.
probably gonna be as painful as collecting the Amber Plasm or your fucking Spider Kith skin. Fuck me. Alright, anyway. So the first item set that they are releasing comes from Falkreath Hold Dungeon. It's called Draugr's Rest. It's light armor. So it gives max magicka, magic recovery, healing done, and the fifth piece bonus is when you deal damage with a fully charged heavy attack, you create a circle of consecrated ground that heals you and your allies, blah 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 blah, for 11,000 health for over 10 seconds. So that's little over 1k health every second. This effect occurs once every 10 seconds. I don't think it's useful for like vet trials or whatever. I don't really see this set as powerful as I don't know, Mending or Worm. For PvP, I can see it working. I'm not sure what your thoughts are on this set, Amanda. I mean, Smirk.
Sounds like dog shit. Don't use my Christian name.
Okay, alright. So it's dog shit, according to Smirk. So let's move on to the next set. Pillar of Nerd, it's medium armor. Now this is a slightly more interesting set. Max dam, weapon crit, weapon damage, and when you deal damage, you have a 10% chance to create a fissure underneath the enemy after 1 second. Kind of like Celestrix, I guess. Dealing 2k physical damage to all enemies within 2.5 meters and causing them to bleed for an additional 8k physical damage over 10 seconds. Doesn't seem very big. This effect, like the previous set we just talked about, occurs once every 10 seconds on cooldown. What do you think about this? I think it's... Uh, I don't know, I don't really see any use in it. I guess maybe once people start figuring out the builds for next patch, maybe it'll be OP or something like that.
PvP, maybe?
The next set they showed on ESO Live this past week, it's called Iron Blood. So basically it gives you max health, physical resistance, more spell resistance, and when you take damage, it's like the Pirate Skeleton monster set from Blackheart Haven. You have an 8% chance to turn your blood into pure iron and gain major protection for 10 seconds. Reduces your damage taken by 30%, but your movement speed is reduced by 75%. So basically you're snaring yourself while gaining major protection. I mean, I don't see this being useful in either PvP or PvE.
No.
I mean, it just doesn't accomplish. I mean, it accomplishes the same thing as Pirate Skeleton does, but uh, I believe Pirate Skeleton you get less healing on yourself, but you can purge that off. So you don't get a snare on yourself either with Pirate Skeleton. So I don't know why they introduced this set. Maybe if the cooldown was less, it's once every 15 seconds, I would consider it. So I don't know. The monster helm from the Falkreath Hold dungeon is called Dummy House. I think it's named after the boss. Duh, right? um, so it's max dam, max magicka on the 1 piece bonus. And the 2 piece bonus is when you deal damage, you have a 15% chance to create a ring of fire or a ring of molten earth, which deals either flame damage or physical damage every 1 second. And if you stand in that ring, it grants you 200 spell damage or 200 weapon damage. And this occurs once every 15 seconds. What do you think about this set? I'm not sure at all. I have not yet gotten PTS. It seems like a Grottar
Well,
kind of thing.
does the damage scale off of max magic and stam?
Yeah, it seems like it.
It does sound like Growlithe.
I mean, it basically gives you. It sounds like a Engine Guardian random proc set. Like you can either get flame damage or physical damage. It doesn't give you
Mm.
both. It's not like in Lambers where you get both shock damage and fire damage. So I'm not sure about this set. It seems interesting. And with the way the next patch is going, it's gonna be an interesting patch for sure. The next 4 sets we're gonna talk about is Flame Blossom. Um, this is from the Blood Root Forge dungeons. So 2-piece bonus is max magic, spell damage, spell penetration, blah blah blah. When you deal damage of a 10% chance to summon a line of flame that moves forward, dealing 8,000 flame damage to any enemy in its path. This effect can occur once every 10 seconds. You know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of those fire mages in VDSA.
Oh my god, those fucking assholes.
And they channel and they just do a line of fire and you just get wrecked.
Yeah.
Uh,
This one actually sounds pretty interesting.
yeah, it seems like they're trying to give us NPC abilities, you know. The next medium set that will exist next patch, if it hits live, is weapon crit, weapon damage, and more weapon crit. I think they forgot to press enter there in that patch notes. It's like, what the fuck? Alright, it increases the damage you deal with bleed damage over time effects by 20%. So, your axe bleed, your pretty much any bleed damage, I mean, rending slashes, the axe weapon bleed, I mean, that's boosted by 20%.
I don't know about this one.
Yeah, I'm not sure as to how this might affect stam DPS in PvE. Like, stam DPS right now, it's pretty solid if once you get a hang of it. I'm not sure if this will help it better. It seems like it might, so I think we might see another buff to stam DPS hopefully in the near future.
Meh.
Alright, so Hagraven's Garden. It's a heavy armor set. Gives you max health, health recovery, healing taken. And when you take damage while under 50% health, you summon the Preservation of Nature around you, basically a circle, and for 5 seconds. Any damage you take from anything outside of the circle is reduced by 50%. And if they try to enter the circle, they're knocked back 5 meters. What the fuck? Okay, so it's like Death's Wind set, kind of, but it's a visible area where you have to stand in. They can't come melee attack you, I'm guessing. It's like I don't know exactly what the meter radius is. Like I don't know if it's like a 10-meter radius around you, or
This might be
15
interesting in
meter.
PvP.
Yeah, it might be interesting PvP. It's a very long cooldown. Not long compared to like Phoenix or whatever, but it's like once every 45 sequence. So it's kind of Death's Wind set, but Monster Helm.
But
I mean,
that
not Monster Helm.
50%
Sorry.
reduction.
Yeah, that's quite a lot of damage mitigation for sure. I'm not sure about this for PvE. I mean, I think it's still gonna be the standards for PvE next patch. Alkash, Eben. Maybe not powerful assault, but maybe this could be a substitute. Not sure if this applies to your allies. I don't think it does. That'd be kind of OP. Alright, so the last monster set, the second monster set we're going to talk about here is Earthgore. So, one piece is Healing Done, so it's kind of like Sentinel or Troll King. And the 2-piece bonus is when you heal an ally that's under 50% health, you summon the Blood Pool under them, and it soaks up enemy placed effects instantly, and heals all friendly targets in the area for 30k health for over 3 seconds. That's 10k health every second. It occurs once every 35 seconds. So I'm not sure what they mean by soaks up enemy placed effects. I'm guessing AoEs, sort of like that, or it could be dots on you from the
Sounds like dots.
maybe. I
Maybe
mean,
both.
maybe both. Yeah. I mean, it's a very interesting set. I think this is targeted towards healers. As of now, I'm not sure whether it's for PvE healing or PvP healing.
It's a long cooldown.
True.
Meh.
I mean, I could see this maybe being useful for like Sanctum. What do you think?
This is
But
such a long cooldown.
I know. Like you keep pointing out it's a long cooldown for sure. Oh, and they got a new die. Cool. I mean, at least this time it's not called Patriot's Blood. Alright, so let's look at the other changes. Scroll down, it's like battleground maps, battleground mode, new modes, new maps. Cool, cool, cool. Then fuck me, they adding more motifs every goddamn patch. I'll never complete it. It's over. It's fucking over. Alright, so for those of you who like to make gold, these motifs will probably sell for ridiculous amounts, because these are probably motifs that you'll probably want, like the Telvanni motif. I'm not sure what it exactly will look like.
Finally! They're beautiful.
Are they?
Yes.
Alright, cool. Alright, so they say they've added like quality of life improvements and updates. Um, so this is a big one for trading guilds. So for a long time, like since launch, I guess, trading guilds kind of had like territorial warfare going on, like outbidding each other on traders, like getting tangled up in disputes, and they would spend people into each other's guilds to like spy on the bids by looking at the balance of the guild bank, and then figuring out, oh, how much did they bid on their usual trader, and then outbidding them next week, right? So they added a guild rank permission for viewing how much gold is in the guild bank. So this may help with um, that kind of problem, but this also kind of, you know, makes things less transparent for people who are donating gold for lottos and stuff like that. So I'm not sure. I mean, it's whatever. And in the guild history, there's guild invites and guild invite acceptances. Finally, like I can see who invited that piece of shit, or stuff like that. Crafting wise, it's kind of whatever. You can cancel an active research if you want to start researching something else. You can improve locked items now as long as it's only 100%. So you don't. They're basically saying, all right, you would really need to fuck up really hard, like to fuck up improving or destroying something, basically. Um, yeah, everything else, it seems like really good changes. A long time ago, we gave feedback to ZeniMax that, hey, maybe consider like color changing AoEs, like enemy AoEs, and like trying to distinguish between friendly AoEs and enemy AoEs, especially in PvP, where some of the AoEs are just like, okay, is that friendly or is that, hostile? So in gameplay, they've added a setting under combat queues that will allow us to control the color and brightness of both friendly and hostile combat queues. So that means AoEs and shit like that.
That's so bitchin'.
I know, finally. That means you can actually maybe see shit in like Mage Hard Mode fight in Trials, or in PvP you know who's negated as who. So this would be very interesting. I think it's definitely an improvement for sure. I think next patch is gonna be definitely an improvement as it is right now. I think every patch it improves in a way. Um, Moving on, the the next biggest thing that they changed is you can now deposit RIT vouchers and AP into your bank.
Hells yeah.
So for those of you who can't buy shit on one faction because you only PvP on the other faction, you just buy whatever you want. That's
Gonna
pretty
get
cool.
that amp chair, boys.
Yeah, I mean it's finally like they should have done this a long time ago, honestly. But that's pretty cool. Now the RIT voucher merchant has been updated, blah blah blah, new recipes. Next patch there will be 30 points increase in CP, that's cool, basically.
Hey.
Boo. I don't know. So they talk about whatever PvP art. Um, they mentioned some changes. So let's scroll down a bit to the Warden balance changes. So the first two changes they did was cutting dive and subterranean assault, which are the stam morphs of the Warden DPS skills, is able to be cast while you're in negate or if you're silenced. In any other case. So basically, like any other stam ability, if you stand in negate, you can cast these. So it's kind of a buff, I guess. Green balance for Warden Magicka healing in trials or whatever. They just kind of made it easier to heal, pretty much. Just updated some tooltips, and that's pretty much it. They don't really touch Templar, Dragon Knight, or Nightblade too much. They did adjust like burning status effects for Dragon Knights and so on, but nothing too major. They're adding more fucking motifs, like, apparently in another section. So let's keep going down. Housing-wise, it seems they fixed a few issues. Justice system. Here's what. Do you see this?
I'm not there. Okay, I'm there. I'm not there.
Justice system.
No, I see it. I'm
Okay,
there.
okay. Look at the second bullet point. Slaves are now easier to steal from. Monster. I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do. Survive in Tamriel, you know? Alright, and looks like they made it a bit more difficult to pick. So, like, a lot of people in our guild, they do, like, criminal activities as events and shit. So maybe this will pique their interest. Quest-wise, they again fixed more issues that's caused by the patches. It's the same old story over and over. Other than that, nothing else major. Let's keep scrolling down. Okay, so let's look at dungeons and group content in the next section. It's under the Imperial City DLC pack. So basically, they made some aesthetic adjustments to Tormentors. ICP, Imperial City Prison Dungeon, it seems they nerfed Overfiend slightly.
Why?
I don't know, I mean,
They're not even fun anymore. They've nerfed them so badly.
you still have people who can't beat normal ICP. That's
Then
just...
they should drink bleach.
That's fucked up. Okay, you heard it here first. Just drink bleach if you can't do normal ICP. Alright, so they nerfed Overfiend by reducing how many ads he spawns. They nerfed Lord Warden, kind of, not really. They just made it less obnoxious to kill the clones faster. White Gold Tower. Okay, so they made it easier for killing portals. Instead of just one player getting that white screen to kill the portals, two players get it now. And I think it's the same amount of portals. This is like unnecessary nerfs, I feel, to dungeons that are already sort of moderately hard. Not too hard, not too easy. They nerfed ICP, they nerfed White Gold Tower, they nerfed City of Ash 2 a long time ago, like twice over. And now they're just slightly nerfing again, which I don't agree with. It's like, I think it makes it less fun. But that also kind of comes across as, are they trying to make a middle ground between normal mode and vet mode kind of thing? I don't know.
I mean, wasn't there? Didn't they nerf them enough already?
Yeah. So I don't know what they're trying to do with the dungeons. I guess just make it easier or more bearable for the general population, like most of the population in the game.
Meh.
I mean, I'm pretty sure most of EU can just do it blindfold, considering they have like vet mall pug runs and zone chat. Like, I don't know about NA. NA's a bit more scrubby, but still, it's whatever. Now, something of note is the Telvar jewelry lockbox merchants now sell rings and necklaces with no intervening box. So basically, more jewelry. It's whatever. Makes it easier to build shit. Orsinian patch. Nothing about Maelstrom Arena. It's like some people said earlier this patch that they nerfed it, stealth nerfed it, made it easier because of the changes sustained in the Morrowind patch. But I haven't gone in there this patch, just whatever. So I don't know what the difference is this patch, but I don't see any mention of a token system for Maelstrom Arena. So like, it's been a long-standing issue. Like, why would you farm it over 300, 400, 500 times for something you can never get? I know you feel the pain for sure. How long did it take you to get a Maelstrom Lightning sharpened?
We don't need to talk about that. But Potato ran it over 400 times and he still doesn't have a sharpened lightning.
Jesus. I ran in like it took me like 350 runs to get one Inferno Sharpen. 350 runs. So
It took me like 5.
I'm kind of disappointed. Fuck you.
That's why we weren't gonna talk about
Okay.
it.
Okay, fuck you. She does. So yeah, I mean, I'm kind of disappointed there's no token system. Like you do 5 runs, you get 1 token, and you can exchange a token for a weapon. I I don't think the grind makes it appealing, makes the content appealing. I mean, that's their reasoning. That's what they said. Like just because you have to grind means you'll replay the content over and over, and we want that. But people have quit over Maelstrom. They went to like Black Desert Online over Maelstrom.
Oh my god.
So
Black Desert's even more of a grind then.
exactly. So how sick do you have to be to just fucking say fuck you, ESO? You know what I mean? So yeah, disappointed that they didn't add any token system. Now let's look at the Shadows of His DLC real quick before we move on. So they nerfed Veladreth. They nerfed basically the fight. They did kind of stealth buff it at the start of Homestead, but now they're just straight up nerfing it. Basically, you'll see Veladreth um, get at you more clearly. They increase the cast time of her abilities. They decreased how much stamina magicka is drained by her spores, or her poop balls, as most people call them. Her adds Namero Fiends no longer cast Searing Bond, which you have to break to, lessen the damage or you might die. It seems they didn't really touch the Shadow Spine damage output with hard mode on, but it does do less damage now in normal and vet normal vet, if that makes sense, without hard mode turned on. They nerfed Ruins. They basically made Zalnur the slaver tauntable no matter what. Like, you know how you would purge your taunt and run after somebody else. So
Yeah.
basically, yeah, they nerfed Ruins
I
and
know.
Cradle, so
These were my favorite dungeons.
it's easier. Yeah. I mean, this basically means maybe, people will farm more and motif prices will go down. Who knows? Everything else, Thieves Guild is aesthetic improvements. Nothing much. Now the combat is where we're gonna talk for the most bit. So let's scroll down to combat balance. So they adjusted some status effects, which is whatever. They buffed poison status effect. The concussion and chilled secondary effects of minor vulnerability and minor maim is whatever. The minor vulnerability uptime in like trials might take a slight hit, but nothing else. This summon pets like your volatile familiar or twilights now move 10% faster, whatever. Dodge rolling now grants immunity to immobilizations when it is used while you're silenced. Cool. They touched a few skills or passes for a couple classes. Dragon Knight, they slightly reduced the damage of burning and poison status effects by around 16%. So that's it. Dark Talons now do magic damage instead of physical damage. Earth and Heart, it's whatever. Well, not really whatever. It kind of makes it iffy on some stacks and fights. Like, they increased the radius of. Oh wait, no, this isn't shield. Never mind. Fuck it, it's whatever. My bad. I read that wrong. Storm Calling. Surge now uses your highest crit rating to determine their crit strike chance. Does that? I think this is poorly worded. I guess basically it determines if you have higher spell crit, you will get a better chance of getting healed, essentially. So I don't know, werewolf, it's whatever. Shout out to that guild for doing normal AA with all werewolves.
That's so cute.
What are they called? Priests of Cursing?
I think so. Something like that.
Yeah, cool.
So much howling.
Howling. So they changed around a few things. Fire Ring, this might be like a troll skill in PvP now. The ability and morphs are now hidden to enemy, players. So you could probably put like a fire in the breach in the wall and just look at them just go up in the air.
Interesting.
Um, so one of the many ways you can get around Major Defile or whatever, like Fasalas or Reverb Bash, is to have a high amount of health recovery. So this means Troll-King, Beekeeper, whatever. But now, they're changing Major and Minor Defile to decrease your health recovery in addition to their healing received. So this is counterplay against the tank builds that you just can't kill with 2 other people in PvP. So, I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it. Another big change, Munda Stones. Um,
Oh, this one's great.
oh yeah. So Zenimax, they've been trying to get more diversity into the game. You know, they force you to make tough calls between, do you want 2 spell damage glyphs and 1 recovery glyph, or do you want 3 spell damage glyphs? Do you want to heavy attack more? Do you want to do a normal rotation like Homestead patch and before? Like, do you want to use Witch Mother Totem as a DPS? Like, fuck me. Like, they're just trying to make you think. Come up with these new builds. Like, fucking Outcast uses fucking two-hander. If you told me 2 years ago two-hander was a fucking viable shit for, like, PvE, I'd be like, kill yourself. He's wrong. Like, it's insane. It's good. It's just mind-boggling how far the game's come. Anyway, that's the reason for, like, changing a lot of the Munda Stones, and later on we'll talk about the traits. So, they buffed Apprentice, they buffed Atronach. Next patch, for those of you curious about it, will probably still be used by healers, like Magic Warden healers, Magic Templar healers for dungeons or trials. I don't see any reason to move away from it, especially since they're buffing it, right? So this might actually allow the Templar healers to again go 1 spell damage glyph instead of like 2 magic recovery glyph and 1 reduction glyph. Possibly. We'll see on the PTS testing in the when live hits. The Lady now grants spell and physical resistance, and they increase the value of it. So this might maybe be viable for. I don't really see any need though for PvE tanking to get more resistance. Like at a certain point, you don't really need resistance. You can tank Hellraw Warrior hard mode with 29k physical resistance. Considering resistances have a hard cap of 32.5k, and you're not getting debuffed, honestly, by like, players in PvE settings. I don't really see any need for it for tanks, maybe, unless you're running like light armor or medium armor as a tank, maybe, possibly, because the light armor does give you like magic recovery, magic cost reduction, so it could be worth it. It's a thought. It's a food for thought. The lever. Now this is interesting. What do you think, Amanda? Smirk?
You bastard! You did it again.
Did I steal your line again?
I don't know. It sounds really interesting, especially since they're nerfing fucking sharpened.
Yeah. So, hypothetically, what do you think the DPS setup will be on the Max Org? Pet Max Org next patch?
I'm kind of interested in this Apprentice Stone, to be honest.
Really?
Spell damage looks really pretty to me.
So
especially if they're nerfing Thief.
Well, okay, so let's skip past all this. So they basically buffed everything, guys, except the Thief. They reduced the crit strike chance from 11% to 9%. So you lose 2% weapon and spell crit rating. It doesn't seem that detrimental. I mean, I was kind of thinking, like you were talking earlier, Amanda, Smirk.
Oh my god.
I'm just gonna call you Smirk, Amanda. Alright. Alright, so Smirk, like we were talking earlier, they might, I mean, we could do, like, we could try it out. Like, all divine pieces on armor, you could do, like, 3-piece Infallible Aether, 4-piece Infallible Aether on the front bar, Maelstrom on the back bar. You can use precise weapons, and amplified by divine pieces, you could do the Lover Stand.
Are you saying that we don't want to be using 5-piece Infallible Aether on our DPS builds?
Okay. Yes, pretty much. Oh god. Alright, so yeah, they basically buffed everything except the Thief. The Shadow and the Ritual doesn't change. I mean, I personally think the ritual should have been buffed, but I don't know. I'm just a guy, don't want no trouble. Alright, so they also mentioned reducing like particle effects and also noise. Um, so if you're lagging and you have lots of frame rates dropping in trials, maybe this change could help. Like, yeah. But though, I think this only applies to, hold on. We've hidden most visual effects from persistent damaging your, oh, okay, so it's by both our allies and enemies. So this will definitely help with the frame rates, thank you. So the max. And they even say it, like, having less visual effects on your screen improves both visual clarity and, no shit, like, no shit. They added more shit to the console, and I think that's one of the factors why console has been having such a hard time in trials. So good on ZeniMax. Fuck, they're actually fixing shit or attempting to. Now, they fix a few pet issues, and they fixed a few naming issues. Um, they fixed a few skills, like I guess executioner, or I mean reverse slash. They added new icons. It's just mostly aesthetic changes after that. But let's go to the probably one of the biggest changes coming. Let's scroll down to itemization balance. Now, weapon traits. So same reasoning with Mundustone, same reasoning with sustain changes, power creep, whatever, diversifying shit. They are gonna change traits. Now, the biggest one people are gonna ask about first is sharpen. Sharpen is all the way at the bottom. It's like they're trying to hide it. They're like, alright, they're gonna be really pissy at us. But let's just put this at the bottom. So sharpen, if you have a staff, assuming, this is gold, that you golded out of the sharpened staff, they're going to reduce 5,160 to 2,752. So it is like, it's like a 1,400 decrease, slightly over a 1,400 decrease in sharpened. So this is going to be a very interesting change for those with.
Finally, just got my sharpened Inferno Aether stave. I'm so sad.
Personally, I think sharpen will still be, at the very least, one of the best in slots still next patch. Just gonna have to rework CP around it. And then obviously we'll start from the top since we skipped all the way to the bottom. So decisive is getting a nice buff, sort of. I mean, it's still kind of shit, but it's definitely gonna be a more noticeable ult generation compared to this patch. So decisive getting buff. Defending, it's kind of getting the same treatment as sharpened. This is going to affect mostly tanks and healers in PvE, and definitely people in PvP with their own builds. So defending, again, over 1400 cut in your physical and spell resistance. It's not much, in all honesty. I mean, it's gonna be maybe, I don't know, slightly noticeable, but you're still gonna want, personally, for me, I'm gonna still run defending resto staff on my Templar and Mag Warden healer. It's a 1400 decrease in value. So 650 spell or physical resistance is 1% mitigation. So you're losing 2% mitigation. And you can make up for the 2% mitigation with 10 more red tree CP. So it's like, whatever. I mean, one defending is better than none defending. Still. So I would say defending is still one of the best in slot traits, just like Sharpen will be most likely next patch. Infused, whatever, Nirnhound, they're buffing Nirnhound. So this is going to be interesting for you to try out, Smirk. For sure when you're parsing and testing out new setups. Powered, they're buffing it. They're buffing precise, giving it a 2% increase in crit chance. So that's like, they took away 2% from thief, right? And then they're giving 2% to the precise trait. So I don't know. The hilarious thing about this particular section of the patch note is charged, intricate, ornate, and training remain unchanged. Cool. And then the next thing they mention is the prosperous arbitrary has been redesigned, guys, to give the combat function. This is endgame gear right here. And then you're like, oh, cool. It has a combat function. I don't lose gold over using it anymore. Cool, cool. But now it's saying it now grants 11 health, match against 10 recovery as a golded item. So uh, if you want to spend your Drogwax, your temporary alloys, or maybe your rosin on improving one piece of item so you can get 11 master recovery or 11 stamina recovery, good on you. You're the richest motherfucker I've ever met. Fuck me. Alright, so that's the armor and weapon trade changes. They are addressing that whole oblivion damage thing. So there's like, in this game, most people don't know this, but there's resistances for almost everything. You have drowning resistance. You have flame resistance. You have obviously frost resistance. You have Daedric resistance. You have some weird like earth resistance. Like things that aren't really shown on your default character screen. Things that add-ons show you. Now oblivion damage isn't mitigatable. So unlike an elemental mitigation jewelry glyph against fire or whatever, you can't actually slap on the oblivion damage mitigation glyph on your jewelry or hope to mitigate it. It's not mitigatable. You have zero resistance as any player race character to oblivion damage. So this is kind of like a nod to the problem apparently people have been having against certain builds in PvP or Battleground, so I don't know. There are other changes too. They are going to increase some values given by a few set bonuses. So they give their reasoning in their little spoiler section. So let's say you have 5-piece Ebon, right? You know, 2-piece gives you max health, right now 1064 max health. They're gonna increase that set bonus by 13.3%. So max health, you're gonna get a bit more out of.
That's nice.
Yep. So yeah, that's it's a nice thing. They do mention a few other things. Bloodspawn. Bloodspawn's kind of getting nerfed. Not really. It's like one ultimate.
Did you look at the last one? Physical or spell penetration has been decreased by 22% on set bonuses.
So I'm guessing that applies to like twice
They're
fang, two
really
fang.
nerfing penetration. What the fuck? Why they do this to us?
So wait, does this? I guess that applies to like two fang or like
Yeah, I just
or
got my two fangs set.
or night
It's
mothers
so sad. Crags?
or crags, night mothers. I mean, you were gonna overpenetrate with all that shit on anyway, and you always took care as a stam character to not overpenetrate. So maybe it's gonna be easier to kind of calculate or just I don't know, figure out shit. So I don't know. I don't know. So yeah, they're definitely targeting penetration. But you are getting 10 more CP. Hooray! They did nerf Grothdar and Lambris for those of you who do raid or PvE. They nerfed it by 10%, so yeah. It's kind of like the nerf to Crystal Frags for sorry, 10% nerf. So expect a lower DPS out of these two sets next patch for sure. But they are buffing other sets for sure, like Narayanith. We haven't seen that set in a long time, have we?
I don't think I've ever seen it
I remember
actually used.
I remember using this on my Magblade a long, long time ago. It was either that or
Was that before you got good?
no, it was actually you either used Narayanith or Kina, 2-piece Kina as a Magblade back then.
I remember Keenan.
Yeah, so they are buffing Narayanith's damage by 20%. So this is actually I don't know pretty interesting. It gives 1-piece max health for those of you that know. And the 2-piece bonus of it is basically like a Lich Crystal explodes. It's like an AOE proc. And it can proc on, dots. So as a mech blade, cool. Not dots. I mean, fuck me. I think Scoria is dots, not Narayan. Brain fart there. Sorry. They're buffing Night Flame.
They
That's Bogdan. So they're increasing the proc
they
chance.
nerfed Bloodspawn.
Yeah, by one ultimate. It's like no big deal, to be honest.
I didn't finish reading that.
Yeah. Um. So they are kind of buffing Bogdan and Nightflame. You know, that dog shit helm nobody ever really asks for. Just decons. So what happened with Bogdan and Nightflame? Several patches ago, some healers did use it. They say it procced a lot in trials. Some other healers who use it in trials said it doesn't proc a lot. Whatever. It was very mixed reviewed. Nobody really thought of it as best in slot. And then when people were complaining about getting one shot in PvP by Veladreth or blah blah blah, ZMX was like, alright, we will make monster sets not crit. Do you remember that patch? Uh, was it Homestead? Was it Homestead?
It sounds right.
I think it was Homestead. Yeah, it was Homestead. At the start of Homestead, they just got rid of crits for monster sets and some proc sets like a Viper, but you can still get one shot by like proc sets and it didn't really solve the issue. But anyway, they removed the crits from monster sets, which also meant Bogdan Lifelink. So they made it more shit. So I guess they're trying to kind of make it a comeback for this monster set. They're increasing the proc chance, and they're also changing that max health bonus you get from wearing one piece to max magic. They're nerfing Poison Serpent. They are trying to buff Celestrix, sort of. Shadowrun, whatever. The Red Mountain, whatever. Shield Breaker. I guess, kind of whatever. I mean, there aren't really that many noticeable changes. They're just trying to buff some sets that nobody uses. I guess they did buff Swarm Mother. Maybe it's a bit more viable to use it. Maybe in like BDSA as a non-DK tank. Chains are still faster, I'm pretty sure, but it's a nice attempt to diversify things, as I would say. So they give you a warning when Veladreth procs. If you have Veladreth and you just proc it, they give you 1 second warning that's gonna proc. So that's whatever. And that's pretty much it for the biggest changes. Weapon traits, Mundus Stones, those are definitely two of the biggest changes. They're introducing a few item sets that I don't think is gonna be I don't think anything can beat Spell Power Cure, Mending, Worm right now, even from the patch notes. I think those are still gonna be mandatory in healers. For tanking, it might be a bit more interesting next patch, but again, I don't really see anything. What do you think, Smirk?
I think it's definitely going to be interesting for people who theorycraft.
Oh yeah, time to spend a lot of gold. So that is pretty much it. Do you see anything else interesting that you want to talk about? Oh, guess what? Scroll down a bit to dungeons and group content in the base game patch. You're gonna love this. I think you just passed it, did you? Oh, yep, there you go. Now read that. The city of
What is
Ash 2.
this?
Oh, just read it.
How do I read that? Horvantude, the fire maw, will call fewer additional monsters to aid it during the encounter. Great. Reduce the damage from Horvantude, the fire maw's ground quake ability. Awesome. So they've now double nerfed it.
Triple nerfed it.
Oh my god.
Oh, so like so many people message me in Discord about this next one about trials. They're like, they're like Sanctum Ophidia. The additional mana cores that the serpent summons for aid will no longer mysteriously disappear for no reason. Now, I don't know if this is like a challenge. I mean, who knows? Like Breath of Life is still not working the way it should in this patch. Maybe they won't even fix it. So, but it should be fixed. Like people keep asking me, how do you despawn it? I'm like, you don't need to. It's just something to know. I mean, it doesn't really make a difference. Back when you're tanking, maybe it's just some more shit to heal through. But I'm glad they're finally addressing it as an old bug. So yeah, I mean, I just people just message me. It's like, we blame you. I'm like, okay,
It's the first thing I thought.
it's hilarious. All right.
It's your fault.
Alright, that's pretty much it. If you've just watching the video for major changes, you can just close the video. Thank you so much for watching. The next changes we'll be discussing here, final changes, trust me. Smirk's over here getting bored next to me. She's just yawning and shit.
What?
Alright, but you'll like this change coming next, Amanda. Smirk,
Oh my gosh.
just fucking kill me. Anyway, Dungeons and Trials. Alright, so they improved chests in Trials. How? Simple chests will never appear. So you'll only get intermediate, advanced, and master chests in Trials. So it makes it a little easier to get
Nice.
you, sort of.
So many simple chests.
Yeah,
So pointless.
yeah. Oh, relocated. Okay, so we have to go through AA next patch, for sure. They relocated heavy sacks and treasure chests away from areas where your group has to split up, so that you no longer need to backtrack to get all the sacks or chests in a given trial run. I guess they're gonna consolidate the heavy sacks. So, I don't know. They fixed a few mementos, lore books, eidetic memory, housing, blah blah blah. Um, they improved the UI. And that's pretty much it. I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the patch. Nothing as huge as Morrowind patch, for those of you curious. But definitely something noting. I mean, it definitely as a DPS, something to look at and test. But again, I don't really see any need to change much on a tank or a healer next patch. Maybe modify a few things, but that's about it. What do you think about the patch overall next patch?
I think that Beardamus says there is some seriously cool stuff here. Smiley face, smiley
Wait, what?
face.
Oh, you're looking at the comments? Alright, let's look at the comments. Just make fun of these. Alright. Which one are you looking at?
Beardamus.
Beardamus? Who the fuck is Beardamus? Oh, I see him. There's some seriously cool stuff. Yeah, I mean, it seems like, the forums are very pro-ZOS, so I don't know how to assert them, but I feel like it's gonna be a very fun and interesting patch, for sure. I think it's a very good step in the right direction. So that's my thought. Those are my thoughts on it. Those are our thoughts on it. So, you have anything else to mention about the changes before we close this? Alright, well, thank you guys so much for watching.
Thank
Thank you
you.
guys so much for the subscribes, likes, dislikes, and the hateful comments. Thank you. Motivates me every day to kill myself. Alright, and again, that concludes our review on version 3.10 on ESO patch notes, Horns of the Reach.